Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. As usual, I am Adam. My buddy is opening up some bourbon, which I am always happy to see. I am connected with my good friend, Mr. Michael Sharp. Sir, welcome.
Welcome, Adam. Happy to be here again, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing really good, really good. I'm happy we got something pretty cool tonight, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
So how was Halloween?
As you know, I live in a subdivision for the community of leisure. They may not know this, but I live in a subdivision in a pretty decent sized town, and we get enamored with trick-or-treaters. And it's something of a tradition. My neighbors, we all put our cars at the end of the road so the kids can be safe and go up and down the street. Many people have little bonfires. It's one night of the year where the city where I live in turns their head by allowing the fires in the driveway and such. And
Cool.
and yeah, and lots of kids. So, and the weather this year was nice, which doesn't always happen. And so, you know what? This year Halloween was good. Everybody at work, we had some employees show up in costumes, which is always fun. I give them kudos because 8 hours driving around looking like Raggedy Ann is a little bit of a difference, but
Hey,
nice job.
gives them something to do, something different. Why not?
Right. That's right. What about you? What about the family?
Well, Chas had to work. And then Maya had some friends that she went and hung out with them, and they did some trick-or-treating and stuff. Like I said last episode, I always design my front yard as a graveyard and have some graves and spooky music playing, some fog and things like that. Well, I sat out there and in the middle of the graveyard and passed out some candy to the young kids and older kids that were coming through. So
yeah, we had this year. I noticed I think it's due to some price differences in some items because we had a lot of older young men and women in the neighborhood. So,
well, here in our town, the high schoolers have always trick or treated. Well, I'm not going to say always, but ever since we've been here, the high schoolers have always trick or treated, which I think is great because when we got into high school, we didn't trick or treat and probably just run around town and cause trouble. But it's really cool because they really get into it. I mean, these costumes aren't just like, oh, look at this, I got a Freddy mask on. I mean, they actually, get into it. Great costumes, great themes. So it makes it a lot of fun. So I did that, and it was a lot of fun. I will say, anybody who listened to our last episode, the Halloween episode, we told the ghost stories. I do have an update on the narrow gauge haunted trail in Maine, and I would ask anybody who wants to find out about that update, go check out our website. We have a new section called Behind the Spokes. I have put a picture and a little information about Larry and the Haunted Huffy, and this may be solved. So go check that out. I'm not going to give anything away, but check it out on our website.
Cool. I will tell you that right around so trick-or-treating hours here were from 6 to 8 o'clock, and
Wait a
around.
minute. You have established trick-or-treating hours?
Well, yeah, the Eastern time zone, we are structured, buddy.
Fair enough.
But
sorry, Johnny, that's a great outfit, but it is 7:59 and 8 o'clock. Sorry, no candy for you.
Well, I mean, there were some that started early, in which we allowed them, but after 8 o'clock,
Store's
that's it.
Closed.
That's
Leave.
Right. But actually, my story is a little bit different. But I was about 7:45. Started to get dark. Started to get windy. Started to get chilly. I had the kerosene heater behind me, but it wasn't just cutting the trick. And the next kid that walked by, I said, "Lauren," I said, "watch this." And he said, "Trick or treat. It's not too late, is it?" I said, "Too late? It's not too late." And I went, boom, and dumped the rest of the bowl in his bag. He looked up at me. Really? Looked back at his dad. He said, "Well, what do you say?" He goes, "Well, thank you, mister."
Jackpot. Cha-ching.
And that was it. I pulled the heater in, shut the garage door, turned the lights off, and I was done.
And the good news is the candy wasn't sitting around your house.
That's right.
One
That's right.
correction. Somebody in my studio heard me say, it wasn't just me that decorated our front yard. My daughter takes a very big lead in doing that. And so someone in my studio just corrected me on that. And I just wanted to make sure that
So
I got it
you got
correct.
corrected again.
Yeah, well, hashtag, what is that? Michael's always right type thing.
Michael's always wrong. Everybody knows this one. It even showed up the other day. You and I were doing some social media, and it said, "You want to hashtag anything?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I started typing, and right there, boom, Michael's always wrong. I'm like, "No, we're not using that this time." So,
well, I am excited.
Okay.
We have a guest today, and we have a ride director who's going to be coming on here in just a couple of minutes. I'm very excited about this. We have mentioned this ride many times. This ride has been on our short list as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good time. And we're going to get a little music going here to set the mood. And what I'm going to say is laissez-le bon temps rouler. And for anybody who doesn't know Creole, that basically means let the good times roll. And I'm saying that because this ride director definitely lives up to this saying on his ride. And in fact, it's just going to be a fantastic one. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I will let you do the formal introduction.
Well, wait a minute. If I ever forget about a segment that we do, you give me 9 kinds of you know what. So before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time, as my best friend and co-host forgot about. It is time for Listener Spotlight.
You know, I got so excited about the guest that I pretty much forgot about the listener spotlight. But let me give you the clues from last time. See, it was designed that way. It wasn't a mistake. I was doing it. That was a teaser. That's all that was. Job, all right, listener spotlight. Clues are as follows. The town originally started as a fort constructed in the early 1800s. Unfortunately, to intern the native population, it was incorporated as a town in the late 1800s. Early growth was spurred by a rail line that passed through this town, and coal and iron were discovered in the 1880s, but those resources were much smaller than they had anticipated, so the town suffered a major economic decline. However, cotton processing became a big economical boom. Cotton produced products also became huge. This town has an annual festival that celebrates its world standing around hosiery. And finally, it could be said that this city is truly a Dixieland delight. And I know we had some guesses.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when we do listener spotlight, we go right before we're going to record and we search the social pages, we search the emails, and we find the bum, 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 bum. Nobody has guessed because either A, you made it too hard, or maybe it's the time of the year, people are busy. But this time, I'm going to say either A, you made it too easy, or B, we have some extremely intelligent people because we had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 guesses.
Wow.
And all of them guessed the exact same city.
Really? Exact one. Yeah. Well, I snuck in a clue that I was like, if somebody's thinking in the right mindset, they're going to get it. But I will agree. I think our listeners are pretty savvy on things. So I didn't figure that it would go unnoticed. So what do we get?
I have a breakdown.
Okay.
Adam said St. Louis, and Adam said St. Louis, and Adam said St. Louis, and Adam said, no, I'm just kidding.
Adam always says St. Louis, and he's never right.
Wade Paul, our friend who has made a guess or two, has said Fort Payne, Alabama. Our team member and monthly supporter and good friend Alex Bell has said Fort Payne, Alabama. Matt, or as you like to call him, Mark Robinson,
said he would. Friends all know him by Mark. So
he said he would eat his socks if he was wrong. But Fort Payne, Alabama, and Connie, please listen up closely. Our good friend and team member Armando has guessed all the way from California, Fort Payne, Alabama. So not one, not two, not three, not four, but four distinguished friends of ours, listeners to the show, friend of the show, have said Fort Payne, Alabama. Now, we did get a few different quotes to a few different things. I will honor Alex by saying he said he completed his travels. He was on the road. He said Fort Payne was developed around a fort with the same name, built in 1830 to intern the Cherokee tribe. In the late 1880s, coal and iron deposits were discovered, which supported industrialization of the area. Present-day Norfolk Southern Railway formerly offered passenger service to the city, and Fort Payne is the home of the country music group Alabama, who had the 1983 hit song Dixieland Delight. This was the giveaway clue for me, Alex says. So, Matt said that, let me see here. He says, I got to go with Fort Payne, Alabama, as the owner of well north of 300 pairs of socks. It's near and dear to my heart. And feet, he says. You gave him some, said I cannot confirm or deny. And he says, I'm confident I'll eat my socks if I'm not right. He says, kidding, old Mickey has beaten me more times than I can count. I'm not eating any socks. So how did our friends of the show and team members do? Before you do that, let me get my applause button.
Well, I don't think there's any surprises now, is there? Wow. Okay. Great job, everyone. Yes, indeed. All of you got it correct. Fort Payne, Alabama was, in fact, the answer. Alex, you nailed it. The only thing I will add, all the members of the group Alabama are from that town. Hosiery industry became huge there, especially the production of socks. And that's where the whole, I had mentioned hosiery, and then I figured the Dixieland Delight. That was a pretty big nod to Alabama. But great job, everyone. We've never had four people send in correct answers before on any single one. So,
ladies and gentlemen, that was Listener Spotlight. Thank you all, listeners. Thank you, listeners from Fort Payne, Alabama. But as I always say, thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Whether you listen or watch. As a matter of fact, some of those were YouTube comments. So thank you so very much.
Now I can say, can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Laissez-les bon temps rouler.
I believe that's let the good times roll.
Yes, sir.
All
now,
right.
Who do we got?
We are going to bring on the ride director of Cycle Zydeco, and his name is Scott Chilling. He's the founder of Trail, which is transportation recreation alternatives in Louisiana. He's the creator and force behind Cycle Zydeco, a week-long cycling a celebration of food, music, and community. His mission is to connect people and places through the power and trails of two wheels. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome Scott Chilling to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. Welcome, Scott. Hey, Scott. thank you so much for giving us some of your time this evening. We saw you at Bourbon Country Burn,
Yes.
outside of the Cycle Zydeco trailer, but here we are in the studio, and thank you for being here with us.
Well, great. I'm looking forward to being here. We go from Bourbon Country Burn to almost Bourbon Street.
Well, there we go. Perfect.
Nothing wrong with that right here. Let me tell you.
Oh man, I still need to get my bourbon from Limestone. So, yes.
Well, this is a ride, Michael. You and I, in all truthfulness, not just because Scott is here. Our friends did it last year. Some team members did it the year before. It's been on our list, and we actually went over and talked to Scott at the trailer, and we kind of exchanged connections, and here we are. So we want to hear all things Cycle Zydeco. But Scott, when you exchanged your contact with me, your website had trail involved in it. Can you touch on that, or?
Yeah. So Trail is a nonprofit organization that we created back in 2004, and it was born out of the pedestrian or the transportation plan, which included the bike and pedestrian plans. And we spent several years working up that plan and didn't feel like it was going to see the light of day. So we created Trail as a nonprofit organization that'd be a catalyst that would help get some of these projects off the ground. So like one of our first projects was getting a bike lane striped onto Johnson Street, which is a major bike lane that connects the university here that cuts right through the middle of town. And then we've done some projects because the Cycle Zydeco has introduced us to other cities where we've done park projects. We purchased property to add to parks. We've done some bridge rebuilds. So that's the purpose of Trail. And it was really interesting. That was our mission. That's our focus. But in 2006, 2007, the Alzheimer's Association had approached us and asked us to help put the logistics together for them to do a bicycle fundraiser. And so that brought us into the world of putting on events. And, so now it was like really cool for Trail. It's like, hey, look, we are interested in getting these projects built and getting people outdoor and active. And then it's like, and we put on these events that gets people outdoor and active and also using some of the projects that we've invested in. So it's been a good marriage between the event side and the project side. And that's the purpose of Trail. So,
that's cool.
And Trail's an acronym: Transportation Recreational Alternatives in Louisiana, which is a mouthful.
Yeah. So. Well, that's like my business. I mean, where I work, it's we shortened it to Let's, and so. But okay, so started out as some advocacy for doing some good stuff, and then. And so obviously we started by introducing you with being part of, or the ride director of Cycle Zydeco. And then how did Trail kind of merge into Cycle Zydeco?
Let me give you the history of Cycle Zydeco real quick.
Sure.
So Cycle Zydeco was formed in 2001 by Joan and Doc Williams, who were, had cycling tours. They had an outdoor outfitters company. They were putting on lots of events. After the tobacco lawsuit settlement, there was some money there, and they asked them to create an event. So they created Cycle Zydeco, and it immediately blossomed and grew beyond their capacity. So they partnered with Lafayette Visitors Convention Center to put on the event. So the event has been put on by Lafayette Visitors Convention Center since 2002. But Cycle Zydeco spends most of its time outside of the parish of Lafayette. And so when there was a change in director, the new director cut Cycle Zydeco out of his budget. So I called him and said, Ben, what's going on? He told me, hey, Scott, doesn't really fit in our mission. It takes up a lot of our resources. So he said, so we cut it out. So I said, well, Ben, that would be perfect for us because we don't have any geographical boundaries like you have. And so so that would fit perfect with us. He said, if you can do anything to create more hotel stays in Lafayette, that would be awesome. So we looked at trying to change the routes for 6 months, beat our head against the wall. And then we came up with a Lafayette every night option at the hotels where we provide shuttle services. So we've helped fulfill the mission of Lafayette Visitor Center. We took over the event in 2013, and it's been history since then. Crazy thing was Cycle Zydeco used to be limited to 375 people is where they would cap it at. and it would sell out in 5 minutes. So the first year that we were putting this on, I thought we were going to have 1,000 people. They just the way they built it up, and we had 220. People had given up on it because they knew it was canceled. We didn't have a lot of marketing, and it took us a while to kind of rebuild. But that limitation was based on the lack of hotels in some of the smaller towns that we traveled to. But now with the Lafayette hotel every night option, that limitation is off the deck.
So, quick question: what is your ridership numbers? I mean, what do you say? Like last year, what was your ridership numbers?
The last couple of years, our high watermark was 2019, and then we were at 780 people thereabouts, and then the last several years we've been kind of between that 500 and 600 number. So I'm kind of using 800 as my planning number right now. We can easily scale up. I mean, if 1,000 people showed up, we can adjust. I mean, our limiting capacity ends up being the shuttles, but our shuttle guys are awesome, and I've seen them pull buses in left and right as they needed. So it's not a constraint.
500 or 600 riders is a nice size. It's not crazy big. It's the right size where you can really meet people, create relationships, things like that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, we have participants that have been doing this for over 20 years, and it's they build relationships, and this becomes a reunion trip for them.
Yeah, another ride that we do called Bragg. Franklin says it's like summer camp every year coming back. So
it really is. It really is.
Yeah, we're actually going to be partnering with Bragg. We're going to be their bike rental partner, as we are with Bourbon Country Burn. So we have over 100 bikes in our rental fleet that we make available. We put them in a trailer and bring them up. We'll bring them out to Georgia, and help support the ride.
Well, that's great. That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Working with
Franklin's been on our show many a time. So that's cool.
Yeah. Franklin's a great guy. His first call I made during the COVID shutdown was to him.
He's got a new director too, so I'm excited to talk about that shortly. So, but domestic director, I think the title I saw on Facebook, it was released today, so I can talk about it because I saw it on the World Wide Web. So, okay, so when we met you, we told you that we would be traveling. Michael from Kansas, myself from Michigan, and you had made a comment that you said, well, if you guys are going to come down, then we have a ride that's 2 days before that. And that is Jazzin' on the Trail. Is that correct?
Jazzin' on the Tammany Trace.
Tammany Trace. I apologize.
Yeah. And the Tammany Trace is one of 2 rail to trail conversions in Louisiana. So the entire length of the trace is 30 miles right now, Slidell to Covington. And it's located on the north shores of Lake Pontchartrain. So 40 minutes north of New Orleans. And we'll be based at Fontainebleau State Park, which is right in the middle of the trace in Mandeville, Louisiana. One of my favorite places to go camp. So we'll be on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain, riding out on the trace, getting about 30 miles each day of riding. And it was kind of spurred by one of our great volunteers is the former mayor of Slidell. And he's like, Scott, you got to organize a ride out. He says, you got people that want to ride the trace or they come to ride the trace. He says, we need to get organized. We need to get music and food. And so we created Jazzin' on the Trace.
Cool.
So they have 1 and 2 day options. It'll be the Monday and Tuesday before Cycle Zydeco. So, and the dates, Cycle Zydeco has religiously been 54 days after Mardi Gras. It's the week after Easter. So,
okay.
That Easter break period has been important to us. So, we have debated trying to pin down the dates to be like early April every year, all the time. But that Easter break has been, has its benefits. And so we kind of tag along with Easter now.
That's pretty cool. So, and I saw on your website that you can do a bunkhouse. Is that an option still?
Yeah. So if you're at the in Mandeville at Fontainebleau State Park, you have the bunkhouse, and the bunkhouse each has 2 wings. Each wing sleeps 50 people. Okay, so that's a dormitory. And then there's also, we'll have camping available on the grounds right there, but also in the park itself. They have tons of RV spots, and almost all of them have sewage full service now. There's also primitive camping available inside the park, but you can just, tent camp with us on site where the bunkhouse is as well. So, and then if you want to stay at a hotel, there's a couple of hotels in the Mandeville, Covington area that we'll have listed.
Cool.
You'll be responsible for your own transportation, to and from the hotel for that event. So, I guess that's one thing that's a real big difference between Cycle Zydeco. Like Cycle Zydeco, you get there, you really don't need to see a vehicle again. We got you covered. Jazzing on the trace, if you're going to be staying at a hotel, you will need to handle your own transportation, even if it's Uber or Lyft or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So, and I just wanted to add that for anyone traveling like us, I mean, for me, if I'm going all that way, I'm going to do both. What about you, Michael? Would you do both? Or
what do you mean do both?
I would do the jazzing on the trace and then jump.
Okay. I'm going to do both the bunkhouse and I'm camping. Okay. I understand what you're saying now.
Well, I guess that would depend on the weather. That's always a popular question.
Well, we've done that before on rides. We've had 2 options available to us, but no, I think if I'm going now, number one, Adam, I love Louisiana. I love New Orleans. I love the food. I love Zydeco music. I'm a huge fan. So if I'm going get the opportunity to go, yeah, absolutely. Let's do the first and then, go do the second. Certainly if you're coming, I think it's 12, 13 hours for me. If I was driving, if I'm going to go all that way, why wouldn't you just do the extra 2 days and have some fun?
Absolutely. And then for anyone checking into this, and if you're interested after all hearing this entire interview, if you do Cycle Zydeco, Scott offers a discount for the jazzing on the trace. So that's pretty cool. All right. So I get to Cycle Zydeco. If I fly in, I know you have some packages that you'll put or your team or somebody will put bikes together. Can we touch on that just for a second?
Yeah. So if you want, you have several different options for handling your bike. If you're flying in, or if your bike is just, seeing us better days, and you have no bike, we have bikes available for rent. We have a bike shop now, so it's a John and Trek dealer, so we can have a lot of flexibility with bikes. But also, if you want to ship your bike to us, we recommend Bike Flight as your to handle your shipping costs. There is a small fee for us to handle your bike, and we can just handle the box if you want to do your own assembly and disassembly. Or we can do the assembly and disassembly for you. So if you're doing assembly and disassembly yourself, we'll hold your box during the event, and then we'll bring it to you for the end of the event so you can pack it. If we're taking care of your bike for you, then we'll deliver your bike at check-in, and then at the end of the ride, we'll pick it up, bring it back to the shop, disassemble it, and ship it back to you.
So what he's saying is we've flown many times with bicycles, and we've had an episode on how to fly with your bicycle. Done it many times, and we always fly in, and we've got the hard shell boxes and all that, and we always wind up that first day hanging out in the hotel, moving everything out of the way, putting our bicycles together. So you're saying we wouldn't have to do that, and I wouldn't end up with like those 3 extra parts that I really don't think are important because those are extras, I'm sure. So
what I heard? What I heard Scott say is, Adam, you have a Trek, and I have a Trek dealership. So if you forget anything, then I'm going to have it for your Damani. It'll be right there in my shop. That's what I heard.
Oh, that's great. Some people like Trek. Other people go for the little bit more extravagant, exotic type bikes. So that's okay.
Huffy. Huffy.
Well, while we're talking about that, I do get this question quite a bit: is what type of bikes come to Cycle Zydeco? And
fair question.
Look, I've seen every type. The only bike I haven't seen is a unicycle, And I think if somebody shows up with a unicycle, we're going to have to do something special, or a prize, or entry or something. I don't know. But I mean, everything is on a hard surface. It's a road. They're all on open roads. They're all paved. So the most common bikes you'll see are road bikes. We see hybrids out there. I've seen recumbent treks, recumbent tandems, I mean, there's but we've had people ship trikes to us that come in on pallets.
Wow.
That has to be assembled. So it's every type of bike that's out there. But again, it's hard surface roads. So a road bike, a hybrid is very common. So, I guess one thing I like to always kind of start the conversation with, when people ask like, Cycle Zydeco, like what kind of riding is it? It's like, look, the priorities are dancing, eating, drinking, and then you just happen to ride a bike to get to the next party. So when people call and they say, well, I ride 40 miles in 2 hours, like,
and the crowd goes wild.
You're on the right show, Scott. So,
yeah. So when people say I ride 40 miles in 2 hours, what do I do the rest of my day? It's like, this is not your type of ride where we're going from point to point as fast as we can. We're going to distract you during the day. Now, that being said, at one time, Cycle Zydeco was only one route every day that averaged probably about like 38, 40 miles, which is what we try to get our main route out. But we had somebody request to do, they were trying to do 100 metric centuries in a year. So they wanted to use Cycle Zydeco. So we created a 62 plus mile route every day that is available too. So we have 2 routes minimum every day, a 40 mile, and then 62 or better. And then when we get to like a Saturday, we'll have like 4 or 5 different distance options available, going all the way near 100 miles. So
cool.
But that 40 mile, that's our main route. That's our main target.
Well, we are men of leisure. We are not racers. We like to take our time. And I think that sounds perfect. So as long as you guys don't mind, a Bianchi being out there on the road. So all right, we're good.
You gonna put that head unit together that always falls apart?
Moving on. What's your next question?
All right.
I did talk to the Bianchi dealer the other day.
They put extra parts on bicycles for a reason. You can leave those. They're optional. It's okay.
Go ahead, Scott. I apologize.
Well, those parts. Again, what kind of spurred this conversation. I mean, like you'll see people pulling bikes that haven't seen the light of day in 20 years. And when those start falling apart, finding parts for them can be a little tricky. But we have some creative people that'll scour to search the country, try to get something shipped in quickly.
So Michael and I always advocate to travel with your own derailleur hanger, because if you're flying with your bike and it gets busted or whatever, so we always say some of those special parts I think you should travel with just in case, because you just never know, because the derailleur hanger happens to be one of those parts that won't fly with your bike.
And today, your through axles, they've become very specialized to every different type of bike. So any of those specialized parts that you're not going to find in stock at your, typically at a dealer, that's going to have to be ordered. Maybe protected.
And I don't know if you realize what you're walking into, but Michael and I tease each other all the time. We've got a phenomenal friendship, and I have spent many of hours working on his bicycle and hotels and trying to help him. And we are great friends. So I just tease him about his Italian stallion. I'm a
jealousy. It's okay.
That's why he's up with 3 extra parts.
That's right. He's like, do I need these? And he's holding them in his hand. I'm like, nah. You don't need those.
Like the movie Doc Hollywood, if you remember that movie with, they put back to his sports car in this small town, and then they hand him a box that's got extra parts in it, and he says they're extra. So, see? Yeah.
So I get to Cycle Zydeco, and for the 2025 ride, you started in Lafayette. Will we be coming to Lafayette if we join you for Cycle Zydeco, or will we be coming somewhere else?
So 2026, we're going to have a new scheme or layout. We're going to start and finish every day in Breaux Bridge. So Breaux Bridge will be our base camp.
Okay.
Breaux Bridge is from the hotel area in Lafayette is like 8 miles, 10 miles, depending on the time of day. It's a 20-minute shuttle trip to and from the hotels to base camp. There is a hotel in Lafayette, in Breaux Bridge, that's probably about 3 miles away from base camp that we have shuttle services to. And there's also several Airbnbs available in downtown, in the Breaux Bridge area. So, and then we'll also have a designated, which is Bayou Wilderness RV Campground, which is our designated RV spot. So they have full service RV hookups. We'll have shuttle services to Bayou Wilderness and back to base camp. And we do have a couple RV spots on site, but I think those are almost sold out.
Okay. So Michael and I look at a lot of things when we try a new ride. We look at a lot of logistics, and we noticed last night we were on the map and we were looking at Breaux Bridge back to Lafayette, and there seems to be a few roads that actually are only like 6 and 7 miles in between. Are those safe for cycling? I mean, if someone wanted to say, I don't need the shuttle, I could actually ride from my hotel to base camp, or would that not be advised?
So I'd say if for some of those trips, if you're a more intrepid cyclist, not a problem.
Okay.
Especially if you're going to do it in the evenings, you want to be well lit up. Some of those roads are busy,
Okay.
but I do have people that want to ride from the hotel. So I've created routes, for them so they can put it on, ride with GPS,
Okay.
and ride from the hotels, ride from the airport, or ride, from wherever to get to go back and forth to Cycle Zydeco. But
probably the safest avenue would definitely be a shuttle. So
yeah.
Now we're at Cycle Zydeco. We're staying at a campground, or we're staying at an Airbnb, or we're staying in a hotel,
or on site.
What am I going to do in the evenings? What do you got planned?
I read the website. Eat, dance, drink.
Yes. So
I'm not interviewing you. Come on.
So from Thursday on, Wednesday's a big party. We do have unsupported riding on that Wednesday. That'll kind of be offsite. We'll talk more details about that. But typically on your Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Wednesday, on your Thursday, Friday, Saturday evenings, we have our bar opens up at 3. We'll have live music. We'll have dancing. We do a scavenger hunt during the event, so we'll have scavenger hunt check-in, so you get prizes. And then and you also have options to go to the restaurants. So that kind of brings us into the Zydeco Bucks that we can talk about now or later.
Cool. Yeah.
Right now, our music lineup, we do have Rock and Gypsy booked. So Rock and Gypsy and Chubby Carrier have been some of our staples for Cycle Zydeco. I mean, you just can't beat the energy that Gypsy brings to the table. I mean, they've played around the world. They've been on the David Letterman show several times. They're fantastic and just a ton of energy.
Do you have that, Michael, queued up? I know you're trying.
There you go, a little Zydeco music.
And we have dance lessons.
Well, I could use that. I'm like a Two Left Feet Productions. I don't even know how to. So
that's why we opened the bar at 3. So. Okay,
well, good. Liquid Courage will definitely help out. So I could definitely help out. So Wednesday, big party. Thursday, first day of actual riding. But then again, the focus is not so much on riding, except for eat, drink, and dance and have a good time. I saw the elevation. Michael and I were having a little bit of fun last night going on Strava and seeing like 68 miles for 400 feet of climb for the day. So
yeah, people call and they ask, and you can see they're trying to ask about the difficulty of the ride. It's like, look, the biggest climb you're gonna have to make is we got to take the overpass to get over I-10.
Okay.
So we probably have 14 to 16 feet of climbing at one point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was flatline. And then there's like this little bump and then flatline. It was beautiful. I mean, the joke is every time you go to Iowa, well, Iowa's flat. No, Iowa's not. Actually, it looks like this section of Louisiana is exceptionally flat. So,
it's interesting. Calling Scott the other day, I'm not going to steal his thunder, but Scott, you and I spoke about where most of the people who come to your ride come from. Where do they come from?
The largest portion is from the Midwest. I mean, I'm really impressed. I mean, that, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa area is really impressive. So, but
All those
go back
good
to like 2018, 19, though. I mean, the draw is worldwide. In 2000, I think it was 18, we had 3 countries from Africa, New Zealand, and Madagascar coming in. And in 2017, we had Bernard Hinault, the 5-time winner of the Tour de France, attend with a French contingent. And half of our support team spoke French, so it was a nice little fit. We had some French speaking representatives out at the hotels to help coordinate, but that Midwest, man, that is just the bread and butter.
That's cool.
Attendance.
We're just good people. What can we say?
Well, you are essentially time. So
he did bring up Madagascar, though. That is one country I do not believe we've ever had a listener from. So you never know.
Time.
Yeah. I'm going to go track down that participant. We'll share this with him.
There you go. Exactly.
So Zydeco music. Describe Zydeco music live to someone like who's never experienced it live. Of course, I listen to Michael play it. If you've ever go to like amusement park, sometimes they have different restaurants that play that sort of music, but if someone's never seen it live, Disney. It was Universal. But go ahead.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. So that'd be an awesome question for Herman to answer. But when I'm booking bands and I'm looking at Zydeco, I'm looking for people that have a lot of energy. I mean, so the accordion, the squeeze box is a staple in Zydeco music. The rub board, the washboard on the stomach.
Yeah.
But just something that makes you want to dance. And and it's a fun, easy dance. I mean, we have dance lessons, but you can just watch somebody and, you can just jump in there and move and dance to it and have a good time. So it's the, we always look for bands that bring a lot of energy, that have a get the crowd involved, get people off their feet, get them dancing. So that's, kind of what we look for. Now we will also, we always have requests to kind of bring in some more Cajun music or sometimes some swall pop. So depending on, who we're looking at, sometimes we'll bring some people in that can bring Zydeco or some swall pop or Cajun. So.
Cool.
And you'll hear a little French in there. There's a lot. Most of these Zydeco musicians have French laid into their songs.
And the town.
Go ahead. I think the big question for me is, tell me about the food.
Well, the food's important. I mean, again,
very important.
Yeah, eating and dancing. Those are the two things. So having great musicians, and then also having great food. One thing that we especially when we're in towns that have sufficient restaurants, we've gotten away from doing catered meals. But we do like a post-ride snack. So we're almost every year we have a crawfish boil, and that's going to be a given. So we will do a crawfish boil. Then other things that we've cooked. I mean, we've grilled alligator. We've had cooked some crackling, which is kind of like pigskin, pork rinds. You'll probably have some boudin at some point. We've marinated oysters. We'll have some seafood element, in there as well. But what we're trying to do is, our focus is like when we look at the ride, you have several places that you can eat and use your Zydeco Bucks to go eat during the ride. When you get off your bike, that we have a little snack for you that represents, something South Louisiana.
That's cool.
So,
and you're talking about the Zydeco Bucks. Explain a little bit about how do I get those and how does that work?
So they'll come with your package, with your registration. And so and even if you are a non-rider, so we have non-rider registrations, you still get the same or similar, package, whether it's a VIP package or a basic package. Each one will have different amounts of Zydeco Bucks, gift cards, etc. in that package. And then you treat them like dollars. So like when I go to a restaurant or a store and ask them to participate in the program, their deal is you just advertise in the program guide. We include you on the Zydeco Bucks. We're going to give out, I think we give out almost like $26,000 to $30,000 in Zydeco Bucks to everybody.
Wow.
So you may, depending on your package, you may have 20, you may have 60 or 100. And then you use them just like dollars at those participating restaurants and stores. And then we go back and I redeem them from that restaurant dollar for dollar. So I tell you, like, even if the servers get tipped in Zydeco Bucks, when they cash out the end of the night, I ask the owner to say, treat it just like cash. You exchange it, because I'm coming back with the check and I'm going to redeem every dollar that you every Zydeco Buck dollar that you collect.
That's pretty cool, because then
cool.
then you know, because the riders are going to spend more than just a Zydeco Buck, I'm sure. So that's helps out the local community as well. So it puts money in the area, which is that's what Michael and I like too. So
you get variety for whereas when we were catering stuff, I mean the selection was A and B. But then you have all the restaurants available to you.
And you get not just the restaurants, but then you get the flavor of the local communities and things like that, which is something that Adam and I like. Now, the question I have, this is for you, Adam. Have you ever had a crawfish boil?
No. When I lived in Southern Illinois, we would catch crawfish in the creek, but nothing like that. No way.
Okay. Yeah. That's one thing my family loves about it up here in Kansas is I spent some time out in Rhode Island and I do a shrimp boil and stuff, and everybody always likes it when I do the shrimp boil, but crawfish boils are great. So that would be awesome.
Well, Jasmine on the Trace, we'll probably do a seafood boil. So we'll have shrimp, crabs. We'll probably do crawfish there as well on one of the nights.
Cool.
So, all right. We talked about food, drinks, obviously. So you have, according to the website, you have a bar that opens up at 3:00 on some days, which I'm in. That sounds good. So then every day that the riders complete, wherever base camp is, that's where someone could have a drink with some of the gift card, if you will.
Yeah. So the gift cards, we're actually talking about it today. We'll have a gift card element, and you can use it at the bar. You can use it for merchandise in the gift shop. So, unlike several events where you get a T-shirt, every time you go do like a run or a bike ride or something, we're not giving everybody T-shirt. We're just giving a gift card. You go pick what you want. If you want to, because some of us have more T-shirts than we know what to do with.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And you can even use it like if you wanted to get this, cycling gear. There'll be a full store from, that have chain lubes to chamois cream, whatever. You can use it for any of that stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So I like that you give back to local businesses. I mean, obviously, if someone's going to a restaurant, there's going to be gratuity, there's going to be cocktails on top of whatever. So I personally like that. It always breaks my heart when you go somewhere and you bring all these riders through, and then it's like, oh no, I'm just going to have this one granola bar and hit the road, and then you've come through a community. So I personally like that. So. Okay, let's talk about the shuttles for a second. So no matter where you're sleeping, whether it be a bed and breakfast, whether it be RV, campground, or whatever, I saw on the website.
Also,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but also we have camping on like tent camping on site at base camp.
Okay.
So and you can either camp with your own gear. We also have the Pedaling Pandas, which have tent concierge service. So if you want to rent their tents, that's an option as well. So you have your lodging options, and this always dictates what your logistics are. So whether you're camping on site, whether you're hotel camping, Airbnb, or staying at the RV camp, the designated RV campground. So that'd be your 4 lodging base options.
I'm glad you mentioned that because you don't need a shuttle if you stay primitive camping or the pedaling pandas or somewhere but if you do need a shuttle, then of course, then you have a shuttle schedule. So
Yeah. So typically our shuttles will run like, since we're just doing Lafayette to Breaux Bridge, they'll start running maybe like 6:45 in the morning, and then we'll try to wrap them up by 9 o'clock. They'll go a little bit after, and then in the afternoons we'll start them at 3, and they'll run till the party's over. I mean, like to kind of see them kind of wrap up around that 10:30, 11 o'clock time frame when they have their last run. But I've seen them. They if the party's going strong, they ran until 2 in the morning one time. So.
And of course, there's always going to be those people who want to know, and I'm asking for things I've seen. Michael and I have seen some crazy stuff on shuttles. Okay. Can you bring your bike on the shuttle?
So our rule, like in the mornings, no. But our rule is no bikes on the shuttle. But if it's not bumping a human off, yeah, you can put your bike on there. Just get with us. If there's a crazy situation where, and not even crazy, you have people that like, hey, something came up. I need to, I got to get home. I need to, it's, Friday, Thursday afternoon. I got to, call it a day, and I need to get back to the hotel with my bike. We'll make that happen. But we also, we have support team members, and look, it's Outside Magazine had ranked us as one of the best supported rides in America. I think several years ago, but it is because people come down here. They've been snowed in all year. They haven't seen a bike in a long time, and some people, they get up there half a day riding. They jump in one of our support vehicles, come back to the end, and maybe they just party from that point on. But we'll take care of you. So.
And trust me, I just needed to ask the question. We've been on one before where it says no bikes on shuttles. Michael and I are sitting there getting hit by gears and pedals as people go down the aisle of the bus, and so it's like, come on, did you not read the thing? No bikes on the shuttle. But one of the things that really intrigues me about your ride is, as you mentioned, hasn't seen a bike all winter. That would be me. Normally, we can't get outside. I mean, unless you do a fat tire bike or a mountain bike, and you take a risk and take a chance. The kind of riding that Michael and I do, I don't see a bike until the first or second week of April normally. And so the idea that the Jazzin' on the Trace would be 30, that might be the first ride of the year.
That'd be a good warm up.
Right there. So
I have to ask the question. Down in Louisiana, you guys don't leave a lot of hoses on the middle of the road, do you?
Oh gosh, this guy. We were supposed to do the rain ride right across Indiana one day, 160 miles. We were both training, pretty favorable training, ready to go. Oh, yeah. And then a brown hose took us out. Michael decided to get in a fight with a garden hose, and he lost. So
some lawn care guy left 155 feet of hose strung across the road. I came around a corner, oncoming traffic. It was like go into a car or try to take the road. And then I flipped my bike and broke my collarbone. So that's why I was asking the ridiculous question.
True story. When you saw us in our Cycling Men of Leisure jerseys and we came up to your trailer, that was the first time he had been on a bike in months.
Since June 19th.
Yeah. We went to brag with Franklin and Stephanie and the gang, and then he was training afterwards, and then he said, "Hey, I got some bad news, and I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do." And so we canceled Brain, and then we kept Bourbon Country Burn on the books. We had purchased some of the VIP tasting tickets for the tent there, and then so we said even if we just camp and go to that. But we actually rode all 3 days, and so you were able to get out. You said it was a little bit sore, but hopefully the garden hose stays away in Louisiana.
Yeah, garden hoses.
You'll see it in our safety protocol that we do refer to roadkill. We do have an abundance of possums and neutral rats and things and you'll always see it. You'll get pictures. Somebody's going to take a Mardi Gras bead, decorate,
yeah.
awesome, put a beer in their hands.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a popular thing to do in Iowa as well. So, yeah, very familiar with that.
But no hoses.
Okay.
So Wednesday through Sunday, I have to believe that Sunday, some people, if they are not lucky enough to be retired, are concerned about getting back to civilization. Shorter ride option on Sunday if people want to hit the road, or
Yes, because exactly what you said, there are people that want to hit the road because they have a drive, they got a flight or something that they need to catch. So, we will be. I mean, Sunday for us gets is a crazy day because now that we're not moving this year, it's going to be a lot easier. But we try to get set up at 10 o'clock in the morning to be able to start receiving cyclists coming back in and dealing with, them getting finished and checked out and getting back. So shuttles are running early. If you want to route like back to Lafayette, there is a 8-mile route that I have from Breaux Bridge back to the Lafayette hotel area, which is also by the airport. So that would be available. But I mean, we'll have shuttles running to take care of it. But before we get away from the shuttles too, some of our experience, like with the bikes and so forth, when we've had emergency situations, like we had bad weather that, lasted all for about an hour, but we had planned to pick up cyclists. We'll bring trailers out and pick up bikes in the trailers, and we'll get the shuttles engaged. We will have some other riding opportunities like on Wednesday that I'm trying to coordinate a shuttling option because it's going to be, there's going to be Jefferson Island to Tabasco, which is going to be 20, so that ride is going to take place 20 miles away from Lafayette or Breaux Bridge. But to get people out there, give them an option to get out there and do that ride is going to require some shuttling. And so we have trailers that we can, bring bikes out, along with the people to go do that ride and then get them back. So,
that's cool. That's cool.
So if we ended up with, on a Sunday and it's like, we got 50 people that need to get to Lafayette, we'll have trailers engaged, ready to go to get their bikes and gear and everything else. The people that are tent camping on site, we need to get them, back to where they need to be. So we have plans in place.
That's cool. Showers, shower trucks available on site?
Yep. So let's take, people that are camping on site. Yes, they will have showers available to them. But even if you're staying at a hotel, let's say you're staying at a Lafayette hotel every night, I always recommend pack a day bag. Put your dancing shoes in there. If you want to put some clothes in there, when you finish the ride, your bag will be available for you. It'll be in our baggage handling area. You could take a shower if you wanted, or you could just change and freshen up. But there will be shower trailers on site for anybody who's with the ride. So.
That's great.
That's great. You brought up baggage. If I'm going there, what's my limitation on bags?
So we ask 2 bags, no more than like 50 pounds per bag. Now we're not out there with a scale or anything else, but it's just, don't break our backs. We have older volunteers that are helping out. So.
Yeah, Adam.
I've been known to do that before. I really hope our friends at Padres still like me. So, but he told me he was still healing when we saw him at Bourbon Country Burn, that they were still nursing their backs with ice and heat every night. So, I think with the ride like that, I can make it.
I'm sure you can.
Okay, so we got snacks at the snack, sag stops, hydration, shuttles. We got luggage. We got mechanics. So you own a bike shop. You bring mechanics, I assume.
Yeah. Before we jump into that, though, we're talking about luggage. Let's talk about dirty clothes. So almost every hotel that we're at has laundry facilities available. Oh. And then where we're set up in Breaux Bridge, there is a washateria that's across the bayou. So it's about essentially a block away from us. So.
a washateria. I love it. And I love when you say across the bayou. Now, when you say across the bayou, for people out in Kansas, I'm thinking we're like talking 10, 15 miles down the road, but it's a block.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Learned something there.
But
Cross the
let's
bayou
cover-
is not like a long ways.
No, it's a small river, and the bridge is right. We're at the bridge,
Okay.
so it's
we're
an easy walk.
down on the bayou.
That's right.
We're down there. So, okay. So, got sag stops, mechanics.
Mechanics, yes.
So, if I have a breakdown, then there's some options for the riders. So,
Yeah. So, we'll have mechanics on site. And a lot of our support teams have some mechanical skills of varying degrees. It just kind of depends on, is it, what kind of repair are you needing? Most of the stuff, hopefully most of the stuff we can handle on site. If we get something that's really goofy, spokes tend to be a problem. But then we're like running to every bike shop, in the area, looking for, trying to match spokes. That can be tricky. Again, last year, through axles seemed to be the problem. We also had, especially the e-bikes, man. They got so many different e-bikes now. They all got different components and various supports. But for the most part, for your acoustic bikes, as long as nothing crazy, we'll get you running right there. And I mean, we've had situations where we do have bikes available for rent that are in the shop, that we can pull. So if somebody comes in and they just have a complete, explosion and they need a new bike, then typically we'll start going to different bike shops and go to our shop now. So I mean, I've bought bikes during the ride to get somebody on a bike that I just would put into our rental fleet after. So I was buying from a town that was an hour and a half away, and they dropped the bike off. We got that person back on that bike, and they got them running. And then we just put the bike in the rental fleet. So
that's pretty cool.
And so this is where we give our public service announcement, as we often do. Do not forget to throw in an extra derailleur hanger. $20-$30 might save you a lot of headaches.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so now let's get into the two different packages. So when I'm on the website, at least for 2025, it may be updated, but 5-day party and a 5-day VIP. I obviously could read this line by line by line, but is there just an easy way to say the difference? Or
yeah, there is. And let me start with the motivation for having two different packages. Our prices had increased, over the years, and I felt like we were losing our more frugal, cyclists. So, and I can see that, just looking at the campsites, when people were tent camping, that population was outgrowing. All of our growth was coming in the hotels. So I wanted to try to get our price point back down into that 400 area. And so we came up with a basic package where we kind of stripped down, we reduced the Zydeco Bucks, reduced the gift card amount, and try to simplify, get a bare bones package together, and then have the VIP where, it was like no questions asked, everything was included. So that was one reason. The second reason that we did had the two packages, and we started having a lot of people popping up asking to have their business tours as part of Cycle Zydeco. So we had the Voodoo Adventures, and it's like, we don't have the budget for that to make everything inclusive. And so it's like, well, look, let's go ahead and separate these packages. We'll make one where everything's included, and then we'll have our bare bones where you kind of a la carte pay as you go. So that's, the reasoning for it and kind of the differences. So if you're in the VIP, what you have your better dollar amounts on your gift card. You got more Zydeco Bucks to spend. We also try to have be sure that you're taking care of the charging, because power becomes an essential product to getting everything, phones charged, bikes charged and stuff. So to have dedicated charging facilities, for them. If there's a tour if there's a tour that you want to go on to, there's no questions asked. You have the ticket, you go, if you choose to or not, versus paying as you go. So when we look at the tours, which is probably some of the bigger elements, McGee's Swamp Tour is probably one of the most popular events. But we also have Shadows on the Teche. Still working out some of the details of Shadows on the Teche, but like this year, they're doing a craft cocktail festival, and they want to try to tie it in with Cycle Zydeco. So Shadows on the Teche is in Liberia. That'll be 30 minutes away from Breaux Bridge. So that's going to create some shuttling, happening. But to be able to participate in the craft cocktail festival will probably be part of the VIP package as well. When we on the Wednesday ride, which I expect that we're going to do Jefferson Island, which is the Rip Van Winkle Garden, and it's the old Jefferson home. That's on Lake Pinier, which is a lake that got punctured by a drilling operation. The whole lake drained into a salt mine, and the Gulf of Mexico started flowing back into into that lake. And this lake that used to have an average depth of maybe like 5 feet, all of a sudden had 180-foot depth.
Wow.
But anyway, you get to go tour that facility. We'll go to Tabasco on that bike ride. Tabasco tours will be available.
Cool.
There's also some museums in Lafayette. They got the Hilliard Museum. Last year during the Cycle Zydeco, they had a Rodin exhibit. I'm not sure who's going to be exhibiting this year at that time. But, so those are some of the events we have. One that I really wanted to have involved, but they just discontinued their tours, was the Martin's accordion. They'd build accordions. They would go through the demonstration of building an accordion. They would play music. It was very, really popular, but I think age has gotten to them, so they discontinued their tours. So I don't know all the tours that'll be available, but those are a snapshot of some of them.
Cool.
Also, but right here, if you're a VIP, the Jazzin' on the Trace is included at registration.
Oh.
And you'll see there's discounts for VIPs for lodging at Jazzing on the Trace, but the ride itself is complimentary. So
cool.
That by itself, probably justifies it. If you hammer every aspect of the VIP, then you make out like a bandit.
Yeah.
If you get 50% done, you're making your money back.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
I like the fact that there's, you've got these other cultural aspects to the ride, because that to me really, when I go someplace, I want to experience it. And it sounds like through this ride, you can really, experience the local food, the local music, different things like that. So it's cool.
Look, in my previous life, I worked in the beer business, and I was delivering beer to all these little nooks and crannies. I mean, they had farmers that had liquor licenses, and so I would deliver like 6 cases of beer to these little farms out in the middle of nowhere. And then they were just, giving beer to their employees, and it was easy to get a liquor license, so they got it. So I thought I knew all the nooks and crannies of this area. Cycle Zydeco has taught me a lot. I mean, it's even like the swamp tour. Growing up here, I never went. I mean, I went in the swamp. I mean, we go ski there, and go water skiing and stuff. But I'd never been on a swamp tour. And that was one of the things I was immediately looking at discontinuing on Cycle Zydeco to kind of save some dollars. And that year, I actually rode Cycle Zydeco. I'm just listening to the Cycle Zydeco, and they're like, I do this. This is my 10th year coming to Cycle Zydeco, and this is my favorite part is going on this tour. It's like, whoa, okay, well, this is going to be. And then I did the tour, and it was funny. I mean, the tour guys are not just there for education, but they're entertaining. It's a comedy show.
I've been on a couple of those. Those are definitely fun.
That's pretty cool. What's one thing you wish that every participant understood before signing up? Anything that, later on you're like, I don't understand why they didn't get that, or I don't understand why they didn't understand something. So,
I don't know if I could use this as a way to get some feedback, but I think this is with all the rides, is understanding the refund and insurance, the refund policy. Things happen, things come up, injuries happen. We have what I think is one of the most favorable, lenient policies. So we have a cash refund that has a sliding scale. As we get closer to the event, it goes from like 90% to 60% to 40 to 0% cash refund. But we also have a rollover option where you can roll it over to any future year. It used to be just to the future, to the next year, but that you can use those dollars that you put down that year and you say, hey, I can't attend this year, that you can roll it over. We have about like a 14 or 20-day window prior to the event where that option disappears. But then also you have the ability to transfer. And depending on, the prices increase as we get closer to the ride. So if you had an early registration, sometimes you have a better discount that you could transfer to somebody, things like a $25 fee. And that person could be picking up a registration that would be a lower price than what's currently available. So, but know the refund policies. And then also, we have on the website is understand what your travel insurance. From what I've been told, and I haven't had the experience with this, but from what I've been told, is that travel insurance will cover your registration costs. So if something happened, that your policy possibly could get outside of hotels, airlines, whatever else covered, that you could also get your event registration paid by the insurance company. So that one comes up a lot. And I guess that one's just seems to come to the top of the mind. So.
Cool.
Yeah, and of course, everybody. We have friends who sign up. I mean, it would give me anxiety, but sign up in the last couple of days. We have people who sign up, way ahead of time, and then of course, oh my gosh, I forgot about that work conference that I have to go to. What can I do? And so. But then again, I mean, you are trying to put on an event, and in all fairness to anyone putting on either a wedding or whatever it is, you're planning for numbers, and so you hold spots, and so that I think that's very fair, and I think it's very clearly laid out here on your website. I assume the dates would just be represented in 2026. Probably just hasn't been changed yet, and I understand that because websites are not fun always to keep up. But before January of 26 or 24th of 2026, 90% refund, and you have the breakout scale here. So
yeah, no, that part of the website, that's the first thing that the refund policy is the first thing that we correct before we open registration.
Gotcha.
So that is accurate. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to have a good time. Yep. I mean, we're here to put on an event, and I love to tell a story. Like, when we had in 2020, we had COVID. It's like, so COVID's hitting and shutting everything down. So we rescheduled Cycle Zydeco to the fall. And we're going to do that in partnership with festivals at Acadiana Creole, which is going to be a perfect partnership. I mean, that's the second largest festivals here. It's all about Cajun and Creole and Zydeco, and it's so it ties in perfectly with Cycle Zydeco, and we partner with them on other activities. Anyway, so that year, Hurricane Delta came through, so we had to just wholesale say events off, and then I still had people. We still had 16 people attend Cycle Zydeco. Like, we had the roads painted, we had our program guides done, and they were calling us like, Scott, we will still want to come. I'll say, if you come, we'll do the best we can to have a party. So we did we converted our warehouse into we did a party in there. We did dinner. We went out and we rode for 2 days. Hurricane came through and told me, like, look, we're going to be cleaning up after this hurricane, so we're not going to be able to help out on Sunday. They went road Sunday. We had 16 people from Texas, New Jersey, Missouri, Minnesota, Montana attend. We had one guy had his 90th birthday party on that. So, we're going to do everything we can to have a great time and have a blast.
That's, what I mean. That's kind of what intrigues me about this ride is, we've done the RAGBRAI, we've done Georgia, we've done Michigan. I mean, we've done other states, but for this is you are offering a bike ride with a lot of very social items, tours, dancing, music, it's, like Michael said, like all kinds of other things that you're offering. So it's more than just one of the things that really bothers us is we travel, we put the logistics, whether it's a flight, whether it's renting cars, hotels, then you ride. And when you're done with the ride, there's just nothing to do. And it's just like listening to a clock tick somewhere. It's like, oh my gosh, there's got to be something to do. And so this actually seems like there would be lots to do. So
Yeah. And we also, you'll see it on our websites, but for the venues around down the area that have music happening, we'll have that listed. So like you have different restaurants, Buck and Johnny's, Tante Marie's, Cafe Sydney May. They'll typically have music available as well. So we have our concert that's happening. If you're going out to eat, we'll kind of list the music venues that are there. One thing that's been nice for the last 12 years, the Scott Boudin Festival has been taking place, and they also they follow the week after Easter, unless it lays up on Festival International. So for the last 12 years, we've incorporated the Boudin Festival in some form or fashion. Whether that was a stopping point on the ride. One time we made that the end of the ride. Not a good idea. But so the Boudin Festival will be happening. And even when you get to Sunday, so when you got Sunday, it's like, we're going to get our volunteers. We want to see them packed up and, off the roads by 2:00, getting home, 3:00 or going out having a good time. But you're going to have, at Sunday, you have the Boudin Festival, which will be taking place this year. So you'll have their final lineup. That'll take you till 7 at night. Vermilionville, which will be one of the touring options as well. They have their Baldy March, so they'll have their Sunday music session. They'll have a band that'll be lined up. And it's a great place to go dance. Vermilionville has been more often than not the starting location of Cycle Zydeco in the past. Love the place, but being able to be in the same space every day, day in and day out, just makes a lot of sense for us.
That's great. Well, Michael, I know we have a fun lightning round for Scott here in the end, but before I do that, anything that I missed, anything that you're curious about the ride, anything that you think that the leisure community would want to hear about?
This sounds like a great ride. It sounds like a ride right up our alley. We've got some other options, so we're going to obviously look, and we'll be making a determination here in the next month as far as what we're going to ride. But this is definitely on our short list. I think it sounds just like a whole lot of fun. And I believe I read somewhere that somebody had said that this is the best touring ride in the U.S. It certainly sounds like it. And we're going to consider it.
So some of our longtime riders, which have now converted to volunteers, I was at Ragbri for my first time to go set up. And so we were in like a small town, maybe like Ottawa or somewhere, very small town. And I'm giving away beer and king cake. And I have merchandise to sell. So, but giving away beer and king cake makes you really popular. We had a line wrapped around the block. And man, it's like, and I'm smoked. I mean, I can barely handle the beer and the king cake, much less merchandise, and talk to people. And so Jeff and Darwin, who are longtime riders from Kansas and Missouri, they show up and they're like, Scott, we're going to help you out. So Darwin starts serving beer. Jeff starts talking to everybody. He's like, man, he says Cycle Zydeco is the best ride. He says it's like Ragbri on steroids. You got to come do it and stuff. And both of those guys have been doing Cycle Zydeco almost since its inception. And now they're volunteering for us, and it's awesome. But to have that setup where people have been participating in Cycle Zydeco for so many years out there selling it while we're giving away beer and king cakes was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
If I can touch on something real bit on the logistics side. So getting your bike to Cycle Zydeco, parking, these are some of the questions that come up. So if you're not flying in, if you're driving in, if you're camping on site with us, we have parking that's going to be available downtown Breaux Bridge. Right, actually, one of our parking spots is going to be right next to the police station. And so that parking will be available to anybody during the ride. So like even if you're staying at a Lafayette hotel or staying anywhere and you want to drive into Cycle Zydeco during that period and not use the shuttles, that will be an option for you to drive in and drive out, every day and have a place to park in downtown Breaux Bridge. getting your bike to Breaux Bridge is important. If you're driving in, drive into Breaux Bridge, drop your bike off, check in, get all your goodies, and then you can go to your hotel or go wherever you're staying, and then take the shuttle to come back out. Your bike will stay at the base camp for the duration of the ride. So, and it's going to be secure. That is the place where our tent campers on site are camping. And so and that's the site of our party. We'll have security there. We have volunteers that will be there, keeping an eye on everything, but still bring a bike lock. That never hurts. But that'll be, parking for the bikes. And then at the end of the ride, pick up your bike and head out. If for some reason you're flying in with your bike and you need to get it there, there's always a handful of people. We're not too far away from the airport, and just get with us in time. If Uber or Lyft can take care of it for some reason, we'll figure out a way to get you and your bike where you need to be. If you're staying at a hotel and you're flying in, do contact all the hotels have shuttle services, but do contact them at least a couple days in advance to make arrangements to be sure that they're there to get you picked up. And if you run into problems, just give us a call. We'll figure out a solution. So,
cool.
And if you're renting a bike, when you check in, bike rental pickup will be at check-in, where the bikes will be sleeping. And then at the end of the ride, when you're ready to turn it in, you just turn it in at the same location. So, if you're shipping your bike, same thing. Your bike will be waiting for you at check-in, and when you're ready to turn it in, your box will be ready at check-in, or you just turn it into us at check-in for disassembly, and we'll ship it back to you. So
excellent.
So when I see these rental prices online, is this per day or?
No, well, there's a cycle. So when you look at the rentals, there's a Cycle Zydeco price, and that is for the event.
Okay.
I mean, if you come in on Sunday,
I see it.
Sunday can be tricky, but it is the Cycle Zydeco price, whether you use it for one day or whether you use it for 7 days. It's during Cycle Zydeco, it's yours.
Okay. I do see it now. Yep. Thank you so much.
And if you and then jazzing on the trace, if that would also be included if you rented the bike. I don't think that's not spelled out there, but if you rented it for Cycle Zydeco and you need it for jazzing on the trace, we'll deliver it to you for jazzing on the trace. And a question we get for jazzing on the trace is, how do I get from jazzing on the trace to Lafayette? We know that we're going to have to shuttle some people. It's funny how it happens. Though. It's like the last year, and when we've done stuff between Lafayette and Mandeville, things always seem to take care of themselves. Like, we plan on carrying people, but they end up finding somebody that they're riding with, and they end up jumping in somebody's car and they get there. But we will plan on having people riding back with us, and we'll be carrying their bikes to get them from jazzing on the trace in Mandeville to Lafayette for Cycle Zydeco or to Breaux Bridge.
No, I think that's great. Michael, I want you to know that he does rent tandems. So if we want to end our friendship, we could.
Well, it does come with divorce papers if you're married. So yeah. I think I'll pass. My wife keeps wanting to buy one of those, and I was like, you don't understand. Those bicycles actually in there are packed with divorce papers, because you're riding with your spouse. It's not going to end well.
Okay,
well, there was a tandem manufacturer. His quote was, "Whatever direction your relationship is heading, a tandem bike will get you there faster."
Oh yeah, we joke, and we've talked about it on the show several times, where we'll be riding Iowa or Michigan or wherever, and you'll get to like this top of the hill, and you'll just feel there'll be a tandem bike off to the side, husband and wife, and as soon as you get to the top of the hill, they're not saying anything, but you just feel the tension. And it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep riding. Have a nice day.
Well, the nice thing about it being flat here, like I talked about a recumbent tandem. So it was a couple, and the wife, the lady was on the back, just reading our program guide, just laying back, as comfortable as could be.
Awesome.
I love it. Our good friend Phoenix and Carrie have a tandem, and so I would say, hey, he's not pedaling back there, and Carrie would say, like, I haven't heard that all day long.
Yeah, really.
Well, listen, we do have a lightning round for you. It's five simple questions here, but Scott, anything else that we want to make sure that we get out? I'm intrigued. I'm definitely excited. I want to definitely try to put some fuel to the fire of the decision making, what we're going to do. But anything else that you want to get out to the podcast for people, because it is on YouTube as well, and we do have a pretty decent listenership now. So
yeah, so the fears of snakes, alligators, and mosquitoes is overblown. You will see alligators. You probably see a snake, but they're not. They're not all over, and they're never a pest and stuff. And the mosquitoes aren't really haven't been a problem. In fact, we do have. I think we have a mosquito repellent in the store, but I don't know if we ever. I never use it, so it's fine. Like I said, all those fears overblown. But we're here just have a good time. So just check out cyclezydeco.org or check out Cycle Louisiana, and we'll have all the information there.
Cool.
And forgive my ignorance, but every picture on your website, everybody's wearing shorts. So in April, weather is pretty 70s, 80s, or
I'd say you just plan on like 74 degrees, blue skies, and tailwinds. That's the only way really plan. So
okay, well,
now the weather. It could be 50 in the 50s, in the morning, and be in the 80s in the afternoon. If we do have rain, it typically comes and goes like in the course of an hour. The only time there's been one time where I officially said we're canceling because of weather, and it was on a Sunday ride. 60% of the people still went out on the road. We still had to go put our staff out on the course. So you're going to have some people that are fair weather. If it's foggy, they're not going to get on their bike, and then you have some that doesn't matter what's going on with the weather. They're riding. So we know we're going to have a wide variety of people. So we're prepared for that. But as you get closer, just keep an eye on it. But 74 blue skies and tailwinds. That's what we're planning for.
Good enough. I like it. That's a good plan. CycleZydeco.org is the website. There's lots of great information, itineraries, maps, some lodging options, registration is there. CycleZydeco.org is the website. So, all right, Michael, a little fun here for us.
All right.
This is for Scott.
Okay.
Favorite Zydeco song or band?
We'll go with Doopsie for the band. And then I guess one that we use in our scavenger hunt is Don't Mess With My Toot Toot. Would be one of the favorite songs.
Okay, perfect. And I'm probably going to mispronounce this because Michael, last night we were looking at it, he said that's crawfish.
It's called etouffee, yes.
Etouffee.
Etouffee?
Yes.
Or Boudin balls?
Boudin
balls.
Boudin balls.
He's from Michigan. Forgive him.
Good night. Love you.
I love you too.
I'll come tell you a good night with it. Crawfish etouffee or Boudin balls, and so right now I would take the crawfish etouffee. I haven't had crawfish since the springtime.
Okay.
So,
do you prefer a sunrise ride or a sunset dance?
That's a loaded question.
I'm gonna go with the ride.
Okay. All right. Two more, and then we'll leave you alone. Gumbo or jambalaya?
Gumbo. It depends on if I'm eating or cooking.
Okay.
Eating. Gumbo.
Okay. And then at the finish line of a ride, would you prefer a beer, a bourbon, or some sweet tea?
I'm gonna take a beer.
All right. Perfect. That's awesome.
I prefer bourbon in case you were wondering.
Yeah. So we have we got a lot of local beers that we feature on during the ride, and we'll go by Bayou Teche Brewing in Arnaville. So that's a popular stop. Parish Brewing's another one. So, I mean, a good cold beer after a ride. That's the way to go.
That's a staple
Cool.
right there. Well,
all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Scott from Ride Zydeco, and we're so thankful that you came on tonight with us.
Absolutely.
I know it was late, and so thank you for your time. Again, it's cyclezydeco.org. You can check out the ride. Registration is right there. Again, the dates are Jazzin' on the Trace is the 6th and 7th of April, and 8th through the 12th is Cycle Zydeco of April. So.
All right. Thank you very much, Scott. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, buddy.
Looking forward to having y'all join us for the party.
Thank you so much.
We might do that.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, you and I have a lot to think about, sir. I mean, Scott was wonderful. I really enjoyed that.
Fantastic. See, that's why I was so excited. Hey, this is going to be great. So, no, it's been on our short list. We've talked about it. Several of our friends from the Atlanta area last year went. We had a couple other members of our team went, I believe, the year before. Heard lots of great things. So, yep, got a lot of thinking. I believe at this point in time, it is certainly on that short list.
I would definitely think so. You and I have some decisions to make.
Make some plans.
Well, I tell you what, we've gone a little bit long, like we always do, but that's okay. It's a good thing that a listener doesn't pay by the minute. So, because we would be broke. I mean, why don't we give the listeners? Do you have I'm sure you do. I know you do, but you have another listener spotlight?
I absolutely have another listener spotlight.
Well, let me bring you on correctly, sir, out of respect.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Listener Spotlight.
All right. The clues for this listener spotlight are as follows. This town was named for a town in England. It was first settled as part of another town. It was incorporated in the 1700s. This town is responsible for greatly increasing the industrial production across the entire U.S. Tracking time has been very important to this city's development and to its history. And this city maintains names of certain neighborhoods that reflect its past industrial history. So I gave you a couple little nuggets there that you can take and run with. Didn't I?
You did.
You don't look convinced. You're like,
Well, I'm thinking.
The first thing, because some of these are, pretty vague, could be used for a lot of things. I will say, think about the town was incorporated in the 1700s, because if you think that gives you a timeline. And if you think 1700s, that can rule out lots of areas of the United States. I'll just give you that as an extra little clue.
Give us the clue of the time again. This time.
Tracking time has been very important to this city's development and history.
I'm going to retract that, but I was thinking when you were talking about tracking time, I was thinking like maybe racing, but not since the 1700s. I was thinking like tracking cars, time, or something like that. But nah, guess not. That was my first just thinking. This is probably
not a lot of cars in the 1700s. Horse racing, though.
All right. Well, listen, you've given the leisure community something to think about. You've given people to, let's see if we get a couple people to get it correctly. Appreciate Wade, Paul, Alex, Bell, Matt. His name is Matt, by the way. You call him Mark. I call him Matt. Yeah, and Armando. But listen, I appreciate you bringing that to Listener Spotlight.
You're welcome.
Hopefully people will go for a guess. Our next episode, sir. You wanna give us a little update on what the idea is there?
The next episode. What is the next episode? We've talked about so many of them.
It is the
next episode.
It's what I want you to get me for Christmas.
I'm just toying with you. Because I could kind of see him like, you know the answer. Yes, our next episode, because we are getting close to the festive season, is going to be our annual Christmas wish list for leisure. And if you haven't been with us before, certainly check out those past ones. This one is going to be good. Basically, it's an episode where Adam and I do our own independent research and find gifts for the leisuring community. Now, it's not just all going to be cycling based. We've got other things that we're putting in there for any other, leisure type activities. And we will review those, go over them on our next episode. So it should be a lot of fun. We always have a lot of people say they love that episode. And I know you and I really enjoy putting that one together. And sometimes we come out, it could be anything. Last year we had some home decor ideas. We had a bottle of whiskey. We had some biking gadgets. Who knows what it could be? So it'll be interesting.
I believe you even found a leather bottle holder for holding a 6-pack of beer and
on your bicycle.
Yeah,
probably. I don't really know if we need to be carrying around a 6-pack of beer on our bike, but there was a leather holder that you put under the main bar and you can put a 6-pack in there for all of our friends at RideBri.
I have one last question for you, sir.
Okay.
What does Joe Grammer, Emery Norris, Dennis Keeler, Alex Bell, and Scott Garwick all have in common?
These are people who looked up symptoms online and are now convinced they're dying of some rare disease.
Gosh, I hope not. I like all these people.
I do too, but
no.
Am I wrong?
These are monthly supporters of Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. This is our way of saying thank you for being a monthly supporter. Now, if you don't have the dime in your wallet to pay us, it's okay. Would you leave us a review? We would thank you. So
absolutely.
With that being said,
you're listening.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Hey, I noticed something. I know for our YouTube friends, you have a different microphone cover. I wanted you to know I took the whole entire show to realize that I did recognize it earlier. So,
well, I switched. Normally it's red, but I was wearing the red Cycling Men of Leisure shirt today, and I thought it blended in too much, so I put a black one on there.
I thought it's because Nebraska lost. Anyways, hey, listen, it's been great to be with you. And until the next time, sir, it's a great day
for a bike ride.